Welcome back. Out here working on a few frames. Thought I'd show you guys part of the process on how I do it. I traced the pattern out on my material, and that's going to be one of my ospreys. I cut them a little bit heavier than the template is. That way I'll have enough material to take off to make it the proper size. We'll go over here and attach our template and run it through the flush trim. I use a double stick. And make sure you got a good adhesion with it, because you don't want it moving around on you. Oh, I've told you guys before, the router is the most dangerous equipment in the shop, because they can pull you into them. The bandsaws dangerous. They're all dangerous, but always try to keep your hand away from anything that's got a cutting head on it. There you go. The hardest part about replicating frames is having a good template. Maybe you can hear me a little better now. Hopefully I'm not yelling at you to get my earplugs out. See, that's smooth now, ready for the round over bit. It's more efficient to try to cut and round over as many as you think you're going to need before you start changing out bits, because that's, it takes time. Ideally, you'd have 2 or 3 routers, one for every step, but they don't give them to you. But you got a bearing up here, and it rides your material, and that's why it's so important to have a nice template. Plywood's a pretty good choice for the reason that you can smooth them out anywhere. If you got a rough place in your template, there'll be a rough place in your frame or in whatever you're running off of a template. And I never get them perfect, but I try to get them as close as I can. But the next step is that round over, and I typically turn my handle part more round than I do the tips. I let up a little bit on the tips, so I'll have not as steep an angle where the bands pull back against them. And let's see if I usually get my text there. Right at the top of the band grooves, after I've done the round over and take it out, put in an end mill bit to cut the band grooves with, I'll take a sanding sponge. I've got some that are bigger than this. This was not ideal before, because I like for them to make contact at the same time, and then I'll turn the frame or turn the sponge a little bit up and down to kind of just soften that edge, and then I come back at the edge of the band groove and hit this a little bit in here too, if it's going to be a wrap and tuck frame especially. But I've got one banded in the house that's had band on it for 2 or 3 weeks, that it hadn't cut the bands or anything. I just banded it up and shot it without doing anything to the tips. But normally I'll hit the tips a little bit with the sanding sponge and the edge of the band groove. And that's pretty much it. That's my new Osprey design. I know at least a couple of folks out there that's got one of them. It's for an OTT, it's probably one of the most comfortable OTT things I've come up with. And I mean, you see others out there that are in this ballpark. I think builders that shoot, I think at some point, a lot of times, they all come to the same conclusion about where a frame makes contact, or if it's if it's putting the pressure on a place and you don't like it. That's the upside about making my own frames, especially if they're made out of wood. I can keep working them till they fit my hand. That's not always the case on all of them for everybody, so you hope that you get one that hits pretty good. I don't know if I've got one. No, I got another one. Made a few of these. There's a couple of these out there. That's my curved chalice. It's based off of the honeybee, and some people get that. Let's see here. Some people get that honeybee term mistaken. They think honeybee is what I'm calling, with this black with the yellow sandwiched in between it, but And that was part of the thinking originally. I got the, well, actually, I'm about to goof up. I was calling it the honeybee. It's actually the larger chalice that's 90 mil outer is the bumblebee. The honeybee is actually, that's the temple for it. So you can see it's smaller. Honeybee, bumblebee size. Actually, I mean, this is the curved chalice based off the bumblebee, and actually here's the bumblebee template. There's the honeybee. There's that much difference in them. This one's around 80, I think, outer. This one's 90. And that's the curved template. But the honeybee business is just as much a design as it is a color, because I still call them the same thing even if I make them in the white. Originally, the black and the yellow was kind of working with the bee thing, but just because a frame is made out of these colors does not mean they're the honeybee or bumblebee line. It's just one of the colors, and I happen kind of like this combo. That's actually a GS1 that hadn't had band grooves put in it yet. If you are a PFS shooter or thinking about learning PFS, I would think not having to overcome that small gap, but yes, it's still a small shooter. It might be somewhere to start. I've got a few of them. Not what these are. Looks a little under 74 millimeter outer, so it's a narrow frame. It's based off the Milbro. Mr. Man of Kent sent me one of those, and they were primarily designed to shoot upright. Now, I have done it like this, but you got to make a lot of compensating out there, and you got to anchor as high as I possibly can, but it's really comfortable. But anyway, so much for that. Rambling on like an old guy does. There's a reason for that. But anyway, I see the video is getting extremely long for one of my videos, but I may do another one sometime going through the rest of the process. But appreciate everybody stopping by, and everybody stay safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.